Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. So this is third video on Vue Composition API, Bootstrap 5, JSON server, CRUD sample. So in this demo, our goal is to implement the create operation. Previously, we did read operation, right? Here there are some mistakes. Let me correct them. You see here item.name is binding. Okay. So that is because the dynamic data I want to bind between the tags, we have to use flower brackets, right? I missed them. So let's add them. Okay. Now save, check. Okay. Now I am able to render the names. So let's get back to our main topic, create operation, right? Now let's create one more page level component inside of the wonders folder. I will name component like add wonder. Okay. So let's add three important elements, script template styles. So our approach is composition API approach. Let's add setup attribute on script tag. Now first, let's configure a route for add wonder component. Go to index.js in the route folder. Here, just copy this object, paste it. So I will name it like add wonder. Okay, any name you can give, and let's specify the path route. So I will specify like add hyphen wonders. Okay, and component need to be assigned. So let's import the add wonder component. Okay, and assign component. Now the thing is, we want to navigate from our all wonders component to add wonders component. So inside of the add wonders component, in upcoming steps, we will add form. So first let's work on navigation from this component to add wonders component. So for that, my thought is I am going to add a add button at the top of this collection so that user on clicking that button, it can navigate to add wonders component. So button should be added in the our all wonders component, which is our home component. Okay, let me add a row here, and here instead of button I can use default view router component, that is router link. Okay, so it will have a attribute like to. So to this to, we have to specify the route. So what is our route? Add wonders. Copy it, assign it to the to attribute. Okay. So here I can specify the link name like add, but I want to display it as a button. First, let's check how it will render. Okay. It is coming like a link here, right? And it is coming at the rightmost side. So let's add columns here. column, and I want the link should be centered. So MD4 offset MD4. Okay. So copy the router link, paste inside of this div. Now our button is, our link is centered, but I want to display it as a button. So you can add button classes directly to this router link. Okay. Now let me add some margin. So to add the margin, I can use margin top. Okay, now I got margin top, but I want at the bottom also. So let me give M. So margin. Okay, now it is better. Now if I click on add button, I have to navigate to my component. So to test it in the HTML, let's add a sample message. Okay, now click on add button. See, add wonder component is loading, and here you can see the how the route is changed on button click, on link click. If you see, there is no page reload, only components are changing. So this is the effect of view routing. There is no server side call. Okay, that is the main thing we have to understand, because it is a single page, right? So everything will be handled inside of the browser itself. Okay, so the transition of one component to another component based on the route will be handled by our view router. Now let's define a form here. Okay, so what I will do, add a container div, inside of it add form. So add title to the form. Okay, now let's add form fields like text boxes. So here, if you observe here from our binding, we have name, location, and image URL. So for our sample, I required 3 text fields in my form. Okay, so let's go to Bootstrap website, go to docs, and look for forms. Here is the form controller. Okay, from this sample example, let me copy this one text field. Okay, here let's do some changes. The input type is email, but we need text box, right? So change it to text. Okay, now let's duplicate this 2 more times. Okay, now let's do some more changes with respect to the each text box. Okay, so here for attribute, give a name like for text name. So same for attribute value assigned to the ID value. Okay, I don't want any placeholder, remove it, and change the label to name. Okay, same way, next text box, I will name it like location, assigned to ID, remove placeholder, change the label to location, and here txt image URL, assigned to our ID, remove placeholder, change the label to image URL, right? Let's check the form. Okay, we got form. Let's make our form little bit shorter and center. So for that, here let's add width to 50%. See, our form is centered now. Now here, I need a button at the bottom of the text fields. So let's add a button, okay, of type submit. Okay, btn primary and label the button like add. Okay, now we got the button as well. Okay, now we have to read the whatever data. Okay, like new wonder, whatever data user going to add must be read into our script tag. Here we have to read so that that data I can send as a payload to the create endpoint. Okay, so to read we can use vmodel binding. Okay, so what is vmodel means? On every input field we have to register the vmodel. So to this vmodel we need to bind the or map with the variables from the script. Okay, so here also we cannot use normal variables, so we have to use change detectable variables such like ref, right? We have already used this for our API response binding. Okay, same type of variable must be used here. We can use like name of type ref. Okay, here it got imported, so initial value empty, let and location ref, initial value empty, image URL ref, initial value empty. Now I can use these variables to assign to v-model. Okay, so map them. Okay, sorry, it is added to the button. It should be added to the input field. So we are enabled model binding, means whatever data user enters in these text boxes can be accessed through these variables. Okay, so let's check. So on form submit, let's check. So for that, let me create a method for form submit. Okay, so I will name it like add new wonder. I'm using arrow function. Okay, here what I will do, I will do console log. Okay, whether we are able to reading the user entered data. Okay, so on form submit, this method must be executed. So here I can use @submit. Okay, so here I can assign the method submit. Okay, whenever you don't need to send the parameters to any method, then you can directly call like this. Never open brackets. If you open brackets means it will immediately execute. Okay. Now let's check and let me add here alert. Why I will tell you why I am adding alert. Okay. So let's check. Let me enter new wonder like Taj Mahal, India, and some random image. Okay. So if I click on add, here I got hi. If I, okay, in console, our data must be logged. Okay, but I cannot see. But if you see, the data is lost. Why we lost the data? Let's understand again. So let me enter the data again. Okay, let's click on add. And first now check the console log. Okay, so ref variables, whenever we want to use in the script, we must use dot value to read the value. Okay, so let's check again. Okay, now if I check, see, I am able to see the data. That means I am able to read the user entered form data through these variables. Now I can, using these variable, I can prepare the payload for my post request, which is the create request, right? So the reason why I added alert means if I click on OK, if you observe, here we got page reloading. See here, observe here, it will blink this circle. The page is reloading, that is why we are losing the data in the form once submit, right? So for a single page application, we never allow application to reload. Okay, so what we can do means to the submit method, we can extend event like prevent. Okay, so save it and now check again. Enter data. Okay, add and you got alert and it is logged. If you check now, it won't blink. See, it is not blink. Means page is not reloaded. Here is the proof. We didn't lose the form data that says page is not reloaded because here we are using prevent means it is preventing the page reload. Just it will execute this add method. Okay, that is the benefit of @submit.prevent. Okay, so now instead of this ref variable, okay, something like this form data we want to bind means one more change detectable variable is there. Okay, that is the best when we are using form. Okay, that is, let me create the variable like new wonder. Okay, and the variable type should be reactive. Okay, this also loads from the view. Okay, so the benefit of this reactive is we can specify the object inside of it. Okay, can define these individual variables as a properties inside of this object. Okay, with initial value. Okay, and see now I can get rid of these all variables. Okay, and now I can use this variable for mapping. So new wonder dot name, new wonder dot location, new wonder.image URL. Okay. So I can remove everything and I can simply use this variable new wonder. So for ref variables, we have to use dot value, right? Here we don't need to call any dot value. Okay. So save it and check again. So let me enter some data. Okay. Now hi is coming and page is not reloaded. If I check console log, here you can see one big object, name, location, image URL. Okay, that is this object. Here we are logging. Okay, creating the form. Best object is to use reactive type object. Okay, so now I need to post this entire data to my API. We have fake JSON API, right? So to that API we have to post. So we know for invoking the API call, use Axios. So it is a create operation, right? We have to use method like post. If you recall, for fetching, we used get. So for create, we have to use post. So post also same endpoint. Okay, there is no change in the endpoint. Okay, so to know how I am able to recognize the endpoint means if you go to the JSON server, okay, here itself it is defining how the route should be for get, for post, for put, for delete, how the route should be here itself it is defined. For post, nothing, normal URL only. For get and post, same URL. Okay, but the thing is, this payload must be sent as second parameter. So I can send entire new under object. Okay, then I want to listen for the change. So once the data is successfully sent to the server and the request is success, that means record is inserted, then I want to navigate back from this component to my all wonders component because all wonders is my home component. So here we have to navigate through code, means through JavaScript code, nothing but our React code. So for that, what I can do, I will add a variable like router and I can call a method like use router. Okay, that is going to load from the view router library. Okay, and it is a method. And here remove the reference. Okay, now I can use this router variable. Okay, dot push. So in this push, I have to specify the path. So I want to go to home path, right? Our home path is simple slash. So add it here. That's it. I think logical implementation done. Let's test. Okay, enter the data. Okay, now let's click on add button and also check this network calls as well for our reference. So click on add button and see on home page I am able to see my new item. And if I check network calls, here first call 201 status, that means created. So if you check in depth the request and it is a get method, sorry, post method and status code is created. And here in the payload tab, you can see the data I am posting to the server. Okay. And this is our get request, which is on all wonders API. Okay. So here we are getting the data. So that's about create operation. So next we are going to implement update operation. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video delivered some useful content to you all. If you like my video, please support me by subscribing to my channel. And please don't forget to like and share the video. Soon we are going to meet with new content. Until then, signing off.